So we are back, and we've got the FedEx label off, and now we just need to get the tape. So how's everybody doing out there today? It's Monday, February 6th, and the groundhog has seen his shadow, from what I understand. 6 more weeks of winter, even though we really haven't had a winter yet. How's your coin collecting endeavors going? Everyone doing well and picking up nice acquisitions, fun, cool stuff? Tell me about your experiences and anything that you've come across or that you've picked up and that you find to be cool. So here we have some advertisement for the Legend Morphe. Used to be Legend Morphe, I guess now it's just Legend. I guess Bruce Morphe is no longer part of it, but Greg Cohen, oh boy, yeah, he's been around forever. These Legend always has some big money coins in their auctions, as you can see. 22,000, that's chump change for them. That's a little better. 141,000. It's pretty ironic, the name of the collection, the M&S Petty collection. There is nothing petty about that $141,000 on that MS-64 1850 beautiful seated dollar with wonderful natural toning. 1875 20-cent piece MS-66 with a CAC sticker for 22,000, and a paltry 58,000 on this 1872 MS-63 seated dollar. All right, well, that's a little out of my league. Maybe it's not for you, but most of those are not your everyman, regular run-of-the-mill, everyday Joe. You might buy one in your lifetime along that lines. The average person. Most people will never buy anything anywhere near that expensive. I think the most expensive coin I ever bought was my 1913 S quarter. That was a VF20, and that was I think around 12.5. I had a couple of Barber half dollars in AU58 that realized more money than that. But one of them was bought raw. One of them was bought in an NGC holder, an 1896 Barber half, which I bought raw at the Manchester, New Hampshire show back in 2009 or 2010. That eventually went on to sell in a heritage auction. It was the first coin graded AU58 by PCGS. And the Everyman sets were new then, and they were red hot. And I had several private offers of, anywhere from 5 to 10,000, but I got realized 14.5 in a heritage auction. I think that was probably the number one coin that I, in terms of value attained, value realized. So this is the heavier box, back on track here. I promised the video would be shorter, and I digress as usual. This one I think has 20 coins, and this must have 16. It just feels lighter. And we will confirm that, and we will try to make sure we have them. So I think this label is the front. Oh, you can see my name there, maybe. Okay, so yeah, this is the first one. I believe it should open this way, and it does. So you can see we have 20 coins here. You can see the back one is not genuine, so that's cool. And then we have, so take it all the way off that one. You can see we have a body bag mixed in there. That's going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure what that is. All right, should we start with the body bag? All right, we'll start with the body bag. We'll start with the worst to best. It's probably a Morgan dollar, but let's see. Coin inside, right? Probably residue. Usually when you get the body bag, it's a PVC residue. So let's see the bad news first. See what we got. I'm gonna guess it's probably a Morgan, but it could be anything. Could be one of the quarters. It could be a $50. Looks like a $50 in size. That's the cat causing mischief. All right, so here it is. It's a 48D $50 with, as I thought, PVC residue. So that one slipped through. We were hoping for this to grade with full bell lines, if I remember correctly. We'll have to try to find out where that PVC is that I somehow overlooked. Doesn't appear to be, at least not a substantial amount. It's got nice toning. A quick dunk in, oh, there it is down there, huh? Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it's down there, it's speckled. So we can dunk this and add some there too. A little acetone will take that right off. I'll show you the results of that in a future video. So there's the way we open up. All right, let's put that to the side and let's keep this thing going. Okay, first up, oh, we got some dimes. I remember these. These were sent in strictly for their color. These are going to be low value pieces. They're all Philadelphia, if I remember, and nothing too spectacular. I just like the toning on them. I was hoping maybe we could, you know, they're probably MS63, 64, if I remember correctly, most of these. It's a 1952 Philadelphia issue. It's probably a 64. I don't see a lot that would hold it back from much less. If we got full bands or not, and if you're not familiar with grading dimes, the full bands we're talking about are on the torch, and with the toning it's a little hard to see, but the horizontal bands that cross the torch there, and they need to be full to get the full band or full split band designation. And with the toning, it's, I mean, the top one looks like it's all there for sure. The bottom one, it's hard to see because of the toning. So, you know, it's got a nice rainbow tone to it. I'm going to say it's a 64, maybe even a 5. I'll say 64. I don't know if it's got full bands. I don't think I would have sent it in without them, but who knows, I may have. Well, we got the 64 part right, no full bands. Okay, again, it's hard to see. I don't think the bottom is full. You know, it looks like it's not. It's close, but it's not all the way. So there's a nice little start, pretty much as expected. I think the rest of these will be similar. These all came out of a Whitman album from a gentleman that sold off pretty large collection to me back in September. This one definitely not full bands. Definitely a thick patina to it. You know, a nice luster. Let's see what we got on the obverse, 1957. Another similar look. This might even be a hair lower. This might be a 63. No bands. Toning is, you know, not great, but we threw it in as a filler. We threw it in as an experiment. How about AU, not even MS? All right, so there's this one slipped through the cracks and definitely was not meant to be submitted. I think this one was sent in by accident, but it was supposed to be a different coin, I'm almost positive. All right, well, this one will be lucky to be sold for melt value. All right, I'm not sure how that one got in there, but we will address that. Next, we have another dime. Let's see if we can keep them to mint state. This one, this one might be a, let's see, Barbarous. Yeah, I don't think this one's mint state either. We might see a 55 or a 58 here. Again, a little bit of an experiment, a little bit of, let's throw these in and see what happens. Throw an S against the wall. I'm going to say it's a 58. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's a little break in the luster on the reverse that, yeah, it's not quite mint state. Still, not a bad coin. Somebody might want it for their everyman set. So at least we got the 58 grade. I think we got 2 more of these dimes, maybe even 3. Here's another one that has that 58 look about it. And I'm pretty sure this is another 58 from the looks. Let's take a look at the obverse. Maybe even 55. We've got some friction. I will say 55 on this one. Look at that, huh? Was way off on the first AU, but I wasn't really prepared for the AU grade, so I thought I had mint state on my mind on most of these. All right, let's see what else we got here. Should have pulled them from the original rolls if I was going to do this. This one might be mint state. That one's got full cartwheel luster all the way through. And that bottom band might not be full. Hard to tell the lighting. I've changed the setup here if you haven't noticed, but it's not perfect, that's for sure. All right, this one's cusp of 58 or 63 right now. Let's see what the obverse looks like. Yeah, there's contact marks that, well, maybe not. Yeah, this might be mint state. I think this is a 64. I don't think it's full bands though. We'll say 64. Hey, we got a 65 out of this one. That's cool. Yeah, this one's nice. Pretty nice. Yeah, that's a nice coin. All right, going in the right direction. This might be the last time. It's got some wonderful color. I remember this coin. This coin enamored me. I have a couple like this. Unfortunately, most of them are in bank wrapped rolls that I won't take apart. I have a 46S roll with toning, very similar to this reverse here, and I think we might even have full bands on this one. It's going to be close. The top is there, the bottom looks there. All right, let me show you what I mean if you can't tell really quick. So looking right down here, right in the middle, there's a line that separates. Trying to get the right there. That's a pretty good shot of it right there. All right, let's see if we have full mint state on the obverse. I won't get the bands if it's not full mint state, obviously. You can't get 58 full bands. At least I don't think you can. NGC Annex used to give PLs on Morgans for less than a mint state 60 grade, so I'm not 100% sure. This one is, you know, could be a 58. It's close. I'll say 64 full bands. Yeah, it's a 58. Yeah, I knew it when I saw the obverse. It was, you know, and when they say AU 58, handling and so forth, it's just really friction. It's really, I mean, it's not like this coin was in circulation for any length of time. But a coin like this might be actually more valuable in AU 58 just because the registry, everyman registry set type thing. Either way, it's got beautiful toning, and we do have a Barber Dime that is not genuine. I was concerned. This one is, I want to say it's a 1905. And this was in the gentleman's album as well, and I think I was hoping for this to grade AU 53 or 55. Maybe AU50 now that I'm looking at it. I don't think there's enough. There's certainly not enough there for 55. I have to take a better look at the obverse. But, you know, it definitely has luster, but not full. It's got trace luster. You know, it's got, in my opinion, it's too nice for a 45. So I'm thinking 50, maybe 53. But as you can see, the obverse. Now on these Barbers, I remember I was a Barber quarter and Barber half collector for a long time. The high point is the hair. That's one of the high points, the top of the cheek, and it's smooth and round. I mean, it's rounded. This has that 55. Maybe it is a 50. I mean, the toning is very thick, and this thick toning could be it could lead to confusion on the grade as to how much. I mean, there's hardly any wear on the coin. So maybe I am going to go back to my initial 55, but the reverse, that's a beauty for sure. I'm going to say it's a 55. I think the toning is pretty spectacular. It's all original, and it's, you know, got 80 or 90% of its original luster. The hair is full. The ribbon, the band below and above Liberty are both unbroken. So yeah, I'm going to say 55. There it is. And not quite a 58. Almost, but not quite. I mean, I think that's a fair grade. I think that's a nice coin. It's not a rare date or anything, but it was in a Whitman album, so certainly was unexpected. And we're coming into some V-nickels. I'm not entirely sure. I think, I know we have an 1885 in here, and that is a rare coin. I don't think this is it, but maybe it is. I thought it didn't have full rims. This could be an 1883 with cents, I'm not sure. Oh, it is an 1885. All right. So this coin in, let's see here. Hold on, I need to cover up the grade. 1 second. Let me grab something so I can go over to coin facts and we can put it down for a second. All right. Let's take a look at coin facts and see what the Liberty nickel let's see if we go to coin facts. All right. Let's go up here and we'll go to nickels. Right here, Liberty 85, 1885. You can read that 1885 is the second lowest mintage, yada, 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 very scarce coin, blah, 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 blah. All right, so even in a grade as low as 1 poor, 2 fair, AG 3, it's, you know, $200. Good for it's $375. Now, before we get into too much about this, I'm surprised it's straight graded. I thought it was going to come back cleaned. The fact it hasn't is very exciting. We see almost nothing on Liberty. Liberty would be up here on the headband. If I remember correctly, we see a few letters, and I think we need at least 3.5 for a very good grade. So we have full rims, right? We have full rims on both sides. I don't think there's really any rim weakness. So I think that alone will warrant the good 6 grade, because I don't think it's a very good 8, because I think we need more Liberty, we need more detail. Could be a good 4 though. I don't know how to grade these. I'm going to go with good 6 based on the fact that the rim is full and strong, and that, you know, the date is strong, and the overall detail, basic outline is there. So I think it's a good 6. And there it is. And I think that's exactly what it should be. So good 6 is a good grade, right? Good 6 is $450. Cha-ching, thank you. It goes up rapidly though. One more grade and we tack on to 600, and then it doesn't go up a whole lot, only to 650 and 10. And fine, it goes up to 750, 900, 1100 in VF. So it gets scarcer and scarcer. It goes up a couple $100 at a whack. So the fact that we got a good 6 out of this, I think, is excellent. You know, we just, see the scratch, oh, that's not a scratch. Well, I guess it is a little bit of a scratch, but it's consistent with circulation. And what I'm talking about is right where the portrait, that's a scratch as much as that's where the end of the outline of the face, but it looks like a scratch for sure. You know, toned over, light, whatever you want to call it. But at that level of circulation, it's almost acceptable for the grade, if you will. All right, so no details except for the PVC on the 48D Franklin. Here we have another V nickel. I think this is probably a 1909. I think I sent another one of those. Let me send it in and see what it grades. It has that XF45 look to it to me. It has the XF45 color, that dark, circulated, dark brown, steel gray. Not a lot of, I mean, there's trace luster in the devices, but not cartwheel luster. And that to me just screams XF45, but we can't make that, we can't render that without looking at the obverse. So here we see we have a lot more of the design elements, right? We've got the full Liberty and the band above and pretty much below. All the stars have what I call three-dimensionality, pretty much. I think almost every one of them has the six-sidedness to them, if you will. So that might propel this into AU50 territory. I think it's close. I think it's XF45, AU50, you know, one of those XF/AU. I'm going to stick with my initial and say XF45. I don't think there's enough luster, and there's some, you know, there's enough contact marks on here to keep it out of the AU grade. But again, I know very little about these. I think it's a nice wholesome coin. I don't think it's an expensive coin by any stretch. An XF45, it might be 30, 40 bucks, maybe. All right, we'll stick with 45 and see how wrong I can be. Yeah, it just has that 45 look. All right, so that's good. XF45 on a 1909. Since we have the Liberty nickel page up, we'll take a quick peek at that. You know, a lot of me sending these coins in is kind of for educational purposes, you know, for exactly what I just said, you know, trying to learn how to grade these, and getting a professional opinion from PCGS is about one of the best ways, even though it's an expensive way. So actually it's more money than I thought, I guess. I thought 30 bucks, well, maybe it is. Yeah, 60 bucks. I'm surprised it's that much. That's cool. It'll pay for the grading. Trying to sell that thing raw for more than 10 bucks would have been pretty damn near impossible. All right, so where were we? Okay, we're coming up to Buffalo nickels now. As you can tell, we're working chronologically. And if I remember correctly, there's quite a few mint mark coins here. Not a lot of extreme value, mid-grade stuff. You know, VF, fine VF. This has that fine 15 VF. Well, maybe VF 20, 25 look, maybe. Let's see what the obverse looks like. But there's a D mint mark, and for those of you who don't collect Buffalo nickels, the mint mark's on the bottom on the reverse, under the 5 cents. Right there's the D for Denver. And let's flip this one over, and we have a 1919 D. So again, not a super expensive coin, a nice wholesome coin for someone, average collector. You know, the average working man, if you will. You can see we've got a little bit of rim weakness up by Liberty. starting to blend into the words. The top of the E and the R and the B is starting to blend into the rim. I think that alone will keep this from grading anything better than fine. So I think it's a fine 15. The date is weak. Maybe it's a fine 12. I have very little experience with these. I'm going to say fine 15 because I just think it's better than a 12. But prove me wrong. Yeah, 12. All right, again, no experience. Don't really know what I'm doing. I was close. I had, the logic and my thought process was where it needed to be. So for that, I am happy. Let me just take a quick look at this Buffalo nickel and see why I wasted my money. Oops, went back one step too far. Buffalo, 1919D. Here we are, 19D. A fine 12 is probably worth 25, 30 bucks will be my guess. Let's see. Look at the value in 63 plus. That's a nice coin. It's not close to that grade. All right, it's $85. I'm surprised it's that much. Of course, one sold at Heritage in December 51. David Lawrence got 70 a few years ago. Hard to say what it would sell for. But again, I think that's fair. I think that's accurate. It's reasonable. All right, we got another Buffalo with another similar look. Maybe a tad nicer. A little more detail. See, the rim is separated from the lettering, America. We're not bleeding into the rim, if you will. Another D mint mark. All right, down the bottom, or is that an S? That's an S. Yep, I am blind. That is an S, sir. Last I checked, that's what an S looks like. All right, so we have an S. We have a non-genuine. We have more meat on this Buffalo than the last Buffalo. So let's see if the obverse, yes, we definitely do. We have a 20S, and this one is, of course, again, we see that rim bleeding a little bit up at Liberty. So I will say this is just shy of very fine. Could be very fine, but I don't know about that rim. And down the bottom to the left of the date, the rim has a touch of weakness there. I'm going to say the date is strong, though. And this trace luster, I think it's close, fine 15, VF20. I am just going to gamble and say VF20, but my heart thinks it's a fine 15. But I think it's significantly better than the last one, not just one grade better. So we'll gamble and go with very fine 20, even though I kind of want to say fine 15. Ooh, not even. How about that? So once in a while I'm way off. I don't know how that's only very good compared to the last one being fine. I thought this one was better. That's a little bit of a shock, but maybe it's net graded. There could be something that I'm not seeing. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed. I'm a little bit perplexed, but it's been a while since I've been perplexed. And everyone that sends coins in for grading gets perplexed. All right, let's see what the 20S is worth here. And this is Coin Facts, of course. This is not real world. These are ambitious values that can take off 20 or 30%, I would say. So in VG10, it's just a $25 coin. So I probably sent it in thinking it was at least a fine 15. And as you can see, if you can get to very fine, it goes up substantially. So the fact that came back VG10, certainly we won't get our money back on it, but still a nice coin. If I remember correctly, I might have had two of these. This could be another one. I'm not 100% sure. This is a Philadelphia coin. Right? No mint mark, right? All right, if I did have two of them, I didn't put it here. Now, why would I send this coin in? Unless this was another mistake. This is just an average circulated 1921p. All right, see the rim is not bleeding into the word Liberty and the date is bold. I'm going to say this is like a VF20, but it's still probably like a $10 coin because it's a Philadelphia. Maybe it's a 25. And I'm going to say 20 because it looks like they're grading them pretty strictly. Oh, we got all the way to 30 on this one. There is some trace luster on it, but you can see the line. I didn't really spend a lot of time on it because it's definitely not a valuable coin, a 21p. VF30. I mean, in VF30, it might be worth more than the 20S in 10. It's going to be close. Let's see. I mean, you know, people like these very fine certified coins, and, you know, somebody might pay up for it a little bit. Yeah, it's $40. They're hard to find because they're not sent in very large numbers. You can see the 11 graded 25, 21 graded 30, 19 graded 35. So somebody who's collecting these in that mid-grade range will have a really hard time if they want certified. So, you know, you find the right person who says, I really like the eye appeal of that coin. That's a beautiful coin. They might pay more than price guide, or if you put it in an eBay auction, you might be lucky to get half of price guide. So it really all depends on what your approach is. So let's keep this going. We're at 30 minutes. Another Buffalo nickel, another P, Philadelphia that is, no mint mark. Another one that looks to be VF30, VF35. See, we've got more luster. Look below the Buffalo. Watch the luster and reflect off the light and the color changing. I mean, that's beautiful. To the left here, right? This one might be XF. You've got a lot of nice detail on the back of the buffalo's beard, buffalo eye, mouth. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So this one might be XF. Let's see what we got. Another 1921. This one's close to XF40, I think. This one does have pretty decent luster. I'll probably grade at 35 because I don't think it'll quite make XF, but it is close. I'm going to say 35. Could be 40 or 45. I struggle with these. So I'm going to say 35. Yeah, you can tell I have very little experience with these, but that's great. XF45 is excellent. So it was two 1921s that I had, not 1920Ss. And in XF45, we go to a $75 coin. You can see the populations in XF. It's only 64 graded between the two grades, and doesn't get much better in AU50. So these are hard to find in that XF range. Certified, you can find them in the wild, raw, as long as you know what you're doing and you're not, you know, filling your album with clean coins unless you don't mind. So that alone does hold some value that a lot of people may not necessarily realize. Here we go, another Buffalo nickel of the San Francisco variety. Your San Francisco treat. We're back down. We've got trace luster under the Buffalo, not nearly as much detail on the Buffalo's head, beard, his back. We see, you know, the high point is not terribly worn. I think that's what's going to separate VF 20 to 25 from VF 30, 35. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near XF, but I think this is your, based on what I've seen on the last couple. I got to look at the obverse first, but this there's a little bit of rim warpedness right down here at 8 o'clock. But based on what I've seen on the first few Buffaloes, this has a VF30 look to it. And 28S. Yeah, I mean, we can see trace luster for sure. It's definitely a, I would say it's definitely a VF30 and possibly a 35. Yeah, I'm going to say VF30. 35, there it is. Just missed XF. You know, we don't have enough to quite get to XF. But it's a nice coin, 28S and 35. Probably a $50 coin. Let's see. Could be more. These are tricky. These branch mint Buffalo nickels are not exactly common. So in 35, yeah, 40 bucks. So nothing crazy, but you can see one sold at Heritage for $69 in September of 21 for the same reason. They're hard to find in this mid-grade. You know, you can find them raw for pennies on the dollar compared to what you pay certified. We still don't have a genuine, so I guess that's good. And we have another Buffalo nickel from the Philadelphia Mint, and I think this one was probably sent in with the hopes of it making AU. Maybe. And the horn. Nice natural toning, really nice natural toning, really pretty. 1929. Look at that wood grain effect, right? You see the wood grain effect? Diagonal from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Looks almost like a picnic bench. I think it does have, I think this is an AU 50 or a 53. I'm going to say AU 53. I think it has enough luster. I think it doesn't have significant high point wear, and I think there's enough of a cartwheel and enough original mint luster remaining without a lot of contact marks from circulation. Weakness again on the rim above Liberty. That's interesting. Weak strike. Yeah, still going to say I'm going to say AU 50. Look at that, huh? Don't quit your day job. Yeah, I'm sure this is a very low value coin for 1929. Oops, 1929. I almost lost the recording. 1929. AU 50 is probably a $15, $20 coin. 25 bucks. So I probably sent that in thinking maybe it's a little bit better, but again, I really wasn't too keen on how to grade these. As you have seen, I've definitely lost money, but it's okay, it's fun. I collect for the fun. And here's another AU, I would say. That's pretty obvious. Another Philadelphia Mint. Lovely toning. Lovely natural pewter earthy brown toning. I'm not going to run to an hour like last time. 1934, a little cut on the cheek. Another AU 50, maybe 53, maybe. I'll say 53. I think this one's a hair nicer. 55. All right, we're not going to check every value. This one's going to be in that same $25, $30 range. Here we have another Buffalo. I don't think I have any Mint State ones. I think this is another Philadelphia coin, or do I have any Mint State? I don't know. Let's see the obverse. This one has that AU 58 look to it to me, where it's like all there except on the highest point. The luster does not roll over the shoulder blade. Kind of stops. Hard to tell with that light. Might even be 55. I don't know if it's going to quite make 58. Let's see what the obverse looks like. Another 1934. Last one was 55. This one might be 2. Pretty coin. Yeah, I'm gonna say 55. I don't think it's quite a 58. And they did give it a 58. All right. I was on the fence. All right, that's nice. Are we out of Buffaloes? We are. We are now into the Standing Liberty quarters. And we don't have a genuine. This is wonderful. This is going to be some nice. Hopefully we get a few nice grades here, because this is the meat of the order. So we're going to queue up the Standing Liberty quarters, so we don't have to waste a lot of time. This one I want to say is probably a 1917 type 1, I think. And, you know, it looks like it might be. Again, I've never sent one of these in because I've never had one, except for worn ones when I buy junk silver. I would say that this feels like that VF30 with some trace luster in and around the eagle, behind the eagle's wings, where the V with the eagle's wings come together, some trace luster. When I say trace, I mean trace. Like 2% of mint luster left. All right, 1917. When we talk about type 1 or type 2, type 1 was on the 1916 and 17 where the breast was exposed. And then, of course, the public outrage back in, 110 years ago to change that design. They covered up Liberty's breast. So the type 1 obviously struck before the type 2, and there's nothing here to change my mind from it being a VF, except that it might even be an XF, but I've never graded one of these. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it can't be XF because I don't think there's enough detail to give it extremely fine. I'm going to say VF30. I'm going to say VF30, but it's the first time I've had one of these graded, so it could be way, way off. VF35. All right, I said close to XF. I mean, yeah. All right, VF35 on a 17 type 1. I don't think that's extremely expensive because it's Philadelphia. They were saved because it was type 1. No stars below the eagle as well. I forgot to mention that. That's what they mentioned. That's what they use as the pickup point rather than the breast, but they're both part of the pickup points. So let's see what we got. In a VF35, yeah, $150. So these coins are always in demand, and anything above very good is usually a pretty good score. So that's a nice start to the 5 or 6 standing Liberty quarters that were sent in. Hopefully we don't get any genuines. I think there was one that I was a little concerned about. I think there should be another 1917. So when they say no stars below the eagle, you'll see after this coin or after the next 1 or 2 coins, you'll start to see the 3 stars. So this one, another similar look to the last one, but I don't quite see the same level of luster. There is some, but I think this one, is going to drop down to 25 or 30. This one's a little more worn. Still a lovely coin. You can see the word unum is VN, VM, E pluribus, VV. The Roman way, although you do have a U in quarter, dollar, so that's interesting, but the U's in pluribus unum for being a Roman Latin word, I should say. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking that this one is probably a 30. I think it's a step below the last one. I don't think it's worthy of falling down to 25, but it could. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a 30. Yeah, it did fall below. All right, so they wouldn't quite call it a 35. I mean, a 30. Yeah, I mean, there is a little more wear there. So the difference between a 35 and a 25 is probably 50 bucks. So there's your 35 on your 1917, 25 bucks. So that's, it's about right. We have one more in this box, another standing Liberty quarter. This might be the 17D or S. I forget what dates. I forget what coin. I just know that they're all, 4 or 5 of them are before 1925. So this here, kind of similar to the last one. This one seems to be like right in the middle of the first and the last one. This one almost has that VF30 look to it. And we do have a D. We do have weakness on the date. We have a 17D. There's D for Denver next to that bottom star. The weakness of the date perplexes me into thinking that in this beautiful toning up through the word Liberty there, you see that subtle change? That is just lovely originality right there, and it flows over the coin. This might drop it down to fine because of that date weakness. Maybe VF20. I'm going to say that date weakness is really messing with my head. I'm going to say that this is a VF20. Yeah, they wouldn't even give it VF because of the date weakness. Yeah, I knew that was going to hurt it. So that's a little unfortunate that we couldn't get above the fine grade, but that's how close the line is with these. The difference between fine and very thin, the difference between a 15 and a 35 can be very, very subtle. So 1917D, type 1. Yep, same value as the last one. Now, if we had gotten to VF 30 or 35, we're talking closer to 200, at least according to CoinFacts. You can see, you know, the last couple were just over $100. Like I said, ambitious on the value. So, all right, that's the first box. Next box, we don't have a genuine, so that's a good sign. And there's your 3 stars below the eagle. So I think this is a 1918. And this one seems to have that VF30. I've said that twice now, but you can see we've got the trace luster. We've got more bold detail here. It's just more meat on this bone. Nice, natural toning. Just beautiful. Wonderful. Look at the toning flow over this coin. In fact, you can still see evidence of the cartwheels, the cartwheel luster. Depending on what the obverse looks like, this might have a shot at XF, but no way. All right, well, the reverse didn't have a lot of wear, but the obverse, this is just an 18P. I don't see a mint mark. You know, with that luster, it makes me think it's a weak strike. You see the shield. I mean, they could ding this all the way down to fine 12 with that date the way it is. But with the luster the way it is, I think they have to call it a VF. I think they have to call this as a weak strike and a VF, but I have no experience with these. But if I had to, you know, put all the money in the bank on this, I would say VF 20 because there's just too much luster. Yep. All right. I mean, you can see the weakness on the date, and some of the lettering will, you know, trick people into thinking that it's barely a fine, but I mean, so let's take a quick gander at what that 1918P and VF20 is worth. We have to get out of type 1 and go to type 2 for that. Oops, wrong one. That's type 2B. To be or not to be, 18P is probably $75 coin, 65. All right, I think the next one or two are going to be critical, especially the 1919. Whoops, what did I do? Wait a minute. Oh, I see what I did. Hold on. Wait a minute. Where did I, oh, I put it in the wrong holder. Shoot. Okay, I found it. All right, the next one is the 1919D. I saw it by accident. I didn't see the grade, but I was taking the wrong one out. So this is the 1919D. This one had the potential to be the one worth the most money because the 1919D is a semi-key date, possibly even a key date. We'll look at the mintage figures. We'll look at the values of the 1919D in a minute. But the 1919D, everything 1919 it struck at the mint was a key date. Your Walk in Liberty half, your penny 1919S. That's a $300-400 coin in MS63 if I remember. The eagle detail is lacking. You know, there's not a lot of feather detail on the eagle, which is leading me to think that this probably won't get above a very good. We've got full rims, we've got a full date, but very weak. There's your D to the left of the date. I don't think this is going to make fine 12. I'd love it to be a fine 12, but I would have to say it's probably a very good 10. Yep. Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's what it is. The 1919D, you can see they struck a little under 2 million pieces. I knew it was going to be close, and yeah, it's a $4,000 coin in '63. This is definitely a key date, and you can see the difference between VG10 and Fine 12 is a solid $100. So still a nice coin, but it goes up $100 every grade. So the difference between VG10 and Fine 12 is at least $100, and this one was just shy. I can't disagree. It's disappointing, but I think it's fair. If I was the buyer, I would expect to pay VG10 money for that. So this one here might be the last of the quarters, might be a late 1928 or 29, I don't remember. But this one seems to have nice detail, nice trace luster throughout, fields. Oh, we have a 1920, I forgot about this one. Oh, this one's pushing XF. Really bold, really nice. It's got that XF45 look to it. Really pretty coin. I think this is exactly what an XF45 looks like, although there's weakness on the eagle. Maybe it's a 40 because of that. I'll say XF40. Look at that. Like I know what I'm talking about. I really don't. All right. So 1920. P is probably not worth big money or anything like that, but solid, maybe $100, maybe. Not even, yeah, $75. Yeah, I mean, because it's a Philadelphia and it's not super rare by any stretch. All right, and then we should have one last one, a later date. Yeah, and this one I thought had a shot at AU when I sent it in, although now that I'm looking at it, absolutely probably not. The eagle wings are more full though, and we do have, I mean, unless the obverse is stellar, it's probably that yeah, this one's close. This one's probably that prototypical 45 or 50. It could be an AU 50. It's got the 45 look though, as I like to call it. I'm going to say XF45, although it could be an AU 53. How about VF30? Where did that come from? Wow, I think they missed on this one. Unless that's some sort of a net grade. I don't know about VF30. That is a little shocking. That's not going to be worth much in 1929. We're running late here, so we'll skip checking that value. Here we have a Morgan dollar that did not come back genuine. Looks pasty. Not a big fan of it. Don't really like it. Not really sure what I sent it in for. I think this might be the 1881. This was sent in as a favor to a friend, I think. Yeah, I remember this coin. This is probably going to grade MS 61, 62 maybe. Could even be a 58. Close. This could be a 58. I'm going to say 58. I think it is. 63. Wow. Yeah, not a coin I would necessarily be looking to buy, but we'll take it. We'll take it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we have another Morgan. This one has better luster. Not a big fan of these white coins, if you will. I don't dip anything. Very, very seldom. I own PCGS, but I almost never use it. 1885, clean cheek. Yeah, not so much. I take it back. See, the camera can be tricky. Looks like another 63 to me. 62. I thought this one was nicer. See that? All those marks on the cheek. Definitely limiting that one. All right. At least one more Morgan. Another white Morgan without much eagle chest. Not sure what this one is. Omint, of course. You can tell by the strike. Pasty. Looks dipped. I didn't dip it. That's definitely looks dipped. 85.0. Dead luster. Dead strike. Probably a 62. Yep. Not worth anything more than that, in my opinion. Not a pretty coin. Alright, what are we into now? Quarters. Quarters with a D mint. Let's see what we got here. Hold on 1 second. This might be a 47D. Mark on the Eagle's chest is not going to help because they are so strict on these. Oh, a 64D. Why would I send this in? Unless I thought it was double die. Did I put a variety on this? I'm not sure. I don't know how this one got in there. I'm a 65. Why did I send this in? Did I put in for variety? I must have. I don't understand why that's in there. Alrighty then. Let's keep it moving. This might be a 1948 Franklin. 48D came back in a body bag. This one, similar look. The only coin that we got dinged on was the body bag so far. This one might be an AU58. I don't think it's mint state. I will say it's an AU58. How about 63 with full bell lines? All right, nice going. Great job. Don't quit your day job. Next. All right, better luster. We have a D mint, and if you're not familiar with the Franklin half dollars, the D is right up here above the Liberty Bell. And we have full bell lines. We look at the bottom set of lines. There's 2 sets of bell lines. They don't really go by the top because the top almost are always full. The bottom set needs to be all the way across, unbroken. It can be broken right here. There can't be any significant bag marks. That little bag mark right there. This one's close to full bell lines. I really think the last one was an AU58. So here we have a 57D. If that last one was a 63 full bell lines, I'm going to have to say this one's a 63 with full bell lines. Let's see how wrong I can be. All right, right on the money, 63 full bell lines. So I learned from touching the hot stove. Now we're back to quarters. The last of these are going to be the FS 501 or whatever they are, 901, the Type B reverse. Now I sent in the first 5, the nicest 5. I have a roll of Type B reverse 1959 quarters, and I sent in the best ones already. And those all came back 65. You can see the chatter in front of the nose and behind the head. That is going to limit this to a 62 or a 63. I hadn't received the grades on the first ones when I sent these in. Had I received the grades, I never would have sent these in. I'm surprised we even got a 64 based on the fact the 65s that I got back were just, they were so much nicer than that coin. I thought I had a shot at a 66 on a couple of them, but as usual, PCGS makes dreams, but they shoot them down more often. And this one has a nice reverse. Nothing going on in terms of chatter. We're down to the last couple coins. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to see probably another one that's a 64. This one might make 65. This one's pretty nice. There's not a lot of excess chatter. So if the last one was 60, I mean, there is some chatter, but this one almost got a proof-like look to it. I'm going to say that this one is a 65. I'll probably give it a 64, though. All right, 65. That's justice. That's kind of what the last ones look like. The last ones looked actually nicer than that. All right, well, we're up to number 8. We've got a bunch of these FS 901 Type B reverse coins, and I can't even sell them for $50, so kind of stuck with them. Here's another one, and it would be a shock beyond all belief if one of these ever came back 66. I think this is another 65. There's some chatter on the cheek that's going to keep it from getting any better. But there's not a lot of chatter, and it's certainly within the realm of a 65. I'm going to say 65. Yep. All right, that's cool. More 65s, and I know what to do with these coins. Another beautiful reverse, pretty much problem free. Another similar obverse, a couple more marks than the last two. This one's 64, 65. The cheek is smoother than the last. A couple more marks in the field. It's probably a 64 anyways. 64. Yep. Type B reverse, and our last chance at anything. Probably going to be another 64. You know, I wish we could take the reverse of these quarters and put them on the obverse. We might actually have a 67. This one's pretty nice. Not a lot of chatter. Very little chatter, actually. Wouldn't that be a home run if they could give me just 166? I mean, I don't see too much holding this one down. Like, if this isn't 66, what is, right? I don't know. I'm looking for an imperfection. I mean, there is a lot of, not a lot, but there's some fine speckled chatter that is consistent with a 66 grade. There's really nothing going on the reverse to hurt it. There's really nothing going on the cheek. There was one little mark there. I mean, I just know that they won't give out a 66 on this coin, so I'm going to say 65, even though I think it's better. We got the 66! Yes! And the reason I'm so excited about that is because the value jump from 65 to 66 on the Type B reverse is huge. Huge! H-U-G-E with a capital H. I'll show you what I mean, folks. I can't believe it. I knew that one looked mighty fine. Save the best for last. I know what they're doing. All right, Washington quarter. Type 1 silver, 32 to 64. Scroll down to 1959, one of the most common dates of the series. Let me show you just how common. How common is it? 24.5 million minted, right? 25 million coins minted. We go to the varieties, and here's what David Hall has to say about it. The 1959 is fairly common in gem condition. There are earlier issues, particularly of the S mint, but the 59 is not rare at all. There are frosty white and toned survivors. So for varieties, we do have the Type B FS 901, of which I now own 10 of these. But here is the problem. All right, when we start in the lower grades, like 63, 42 bucks. All right, 64, I don't know how 64 can be worth less. That has to be a mistake. All right, so that's $2 less than a 63. That does not make any sense. But going to 65, it goes up a whole $10. All right, and one sold at Heritage in August of 2022. 329 graded a 65. I own, I think, 8 of them now. I have the market cornered, so beware. 65 plus, it jumps a little bit to $85. But here's the jump, folks. MS66. Even though, I don't know if that's accurate, Heritage sold one in August for a whopping $81. And then in July of 21 for a whopping $162. Not sure where they get their pricing data, but the jump from 65 to 66 is a real thing. $55 to I mean, it says 300. Obviously, we haven't seen one sell for anything close to that, at least not yet. 66 plus, it goes up to crazy money. And then 67. I mean, this is basically the top pop, right? There's one graded 67. All right, one. And there's 4 graded 66 plus. So my MS66 is what they would call MS66. They would say 58/5 5. And what that means is there are 58 graded 66 with 5 finer, right? 4 of which are 66 plus, right here, and 1, which is a 67. So that certainly was unexpected, because I thought I sent the finest ones in on the first submission. As a matter of fact, I did. The fact that one of these graded 66 is telling me that I probably have another one that's a 66 that just is in a 65 holder. So this is the submission, these 36 coins right here. It says QA, but it's been delivered, so I'm not really sure why that hasn't been refreshed. But being imaged. So we're going to be a while on the images. We have a lot of dimes that are AU. I'm not sure how they got in there. A 64D quarter. We get a lot of garbage in there. But we did get some nice coins. We get some nice stand-in Liberty quarters. Of course, we got this last one. And all in all, I would say it was a good submission. Another long video, and I apologize for that. Please leave your comments, like, comment, subscribe, share with other people. Tell me what you think. Share your own experiences. And this is the last unboxing video for quite some time. We have one more submission coming back, and that is all Mint State Indian head pennies right here. But this one was sent in November 22nd, so I don't expect that to be back until probably near the end of March. Have a good night, folks. Thanks for being so patient.